Human behavior is a complex web of unwritten rules, and among them, the thank you is the most fundamental social contract we have. It's the closing bracket on a human interaction. But what happens when that bracket is left open? Why do some people seemingly choke on an expression of gratitude, even for significant acts of service, like a meal cooked or a house cleaned? It turns out, this silence isn't just about being rude. It is often a window into deep-seated psychological defense mechanisms. The human brain is fascinating, and sometimes its loudest messages are the ones it fails to speak. One of the most powerful drivers behind this silence is the power dynamics theory. To many, a thank you is not just a courtesy, it is an admission of indebtedness. By acknowledging that someone did something for them, the receiver is forced to admit they were at a disadvantage, that they needed help, or that someone else had a skill they didn't. For individuals with certain insecurities, saying thank you feels like a surrender of power. In these cases, silence is a shield used to maintain a sense of superiority. Beyond power, there is cognitive dissonance. This occurs when a kindness actually causes the receiver mental pain. If a person has a deeply negative self-image, they believe they are unworthy of care. When someone does something genuinely kind for them, it contradicts their internal narrative. By staying silent, they reject the kindness so they don't have to update their view of themselves. To them, saying thank you would be admitting they are worth the effort, and that is a terrifying shift in identity. Then we have reverse endowment. In this scenario, the individual views the people around them as extensions of themselves rather than separate humans with their own needs and efforts. You don't thank your own hand for picking up a glass, and you don't thank your own heart for beating. If a person has integrated you so deeply into their utility, they stop seeing your labor as a gift and start seeing it as an internal function of their life. The gratitude isn't missing because of malice. It's missing because they've lost the ability to see you as a separate entity. In some cases, the silence is neurological, specifically pathological demand avoidance, or PDA. For some brains, especially those on the neurodivergent spectrum, a social expectation feels like a threat to autonomy. The moment a person realizes they should say thank you, their brain perceives that should as a demand. This triggers a fight or flight response, leaving the mouth glued shut, the throat dry. Not because they don't care, because compliance feels like annihilation. We also have to consider the invisible labor blind spot. Picture a parent spending 3 hours scrubbing crayon off the hallway wall. The child comes home, glances once, says nothing. Why? To them, the wall was always clean. They never saw the elbow grease, the chemical burns on your knuckles, the way the fumes made your eyes water. Their theory of mind flickers, just long enough to register the new state, then dies. The labor evaporates like steam. We often see the total opposite of this in the fawning response. These are the people who blurt thank you 9 times before you've even finished pouring their water, who mutter sorry when you bump into them because you turned the corner too fast. Their mouths are always on standby, firing gratitude like bullets into a war zone they invented. It's exhausting to watch, and it's no less exhausting for them, because every thank you is a tiny insurance policy against rejection, abandonment, annihilation. They aren't validating you. They are scanning your pupils for thunderclouds. But here's the kicker. No matter the root, power, dissonance, PDA, invisibility, hypervigilance, the silence, or the avalanche is never about you. Not really. The meal tasted good, the floor gleamed, the favor saved them hours. That's data. But data collides with storylines they've been scripting since the first time they felt small. And so they stay quiet, or they speak too much. The brain doing push-ups, flexing to keep the self in place, even if the self is a house built on quicksand. So next time someone forgets to thank you, listen, not for the words, but for the echo underneath, the one that says, I was afraid, or I don't know who I'd be without pretending, or your love is so bright it hurts my eyes. Because sometimes the bravest thing anyone can do is admit they needed you, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stay anyway.